Football talk on this Monday, the 11th. That's Jim Scarcelli. I'm Dennis Fithian. Before we go anywhere, we want to say, hey, veterans, thanks for your sacrifice and service on this Veterans Day, November 11th, 2024. There he is, Jim Scarcelli, the former Wolverine. He's ready to go talk some football. Scar, what's going on?
Yeah, life is good, Denny, but Lions pulled it out, boy. That's find a way to win. But our basketball team and our football team, a rough weekend for the Wolverines, but some close losses with our Wolverines. But our Lions are making a lot of people happy in the state of Michigan.
Yeah, they didn't make anybody happy in the first half the way they played, but they came out in the second half and did something that no team had done in the NFL in 54 years, have 5 interceptions and be down 15 or more points and win a game. That's what they did. So, yeah, it looks like they got to, I'd say things that are obvious, they got to finish it off. But, man, they look like they can win the Super Bowl.
Denny, though, in my evaluation, though, it's similar to what I think some of the good teams in college football are doing. The Lions have Brad Holmes, our general manager, and we've lost some good players. But this is the same thing with college. He's brought some really good guys in that were on the practice squad, whatever, and they did a decent job. Our defensive coordinator has done a great job for the Lions. But anyway, you have depth in backups because you have the wisdom to fill in some good depth. I look at Texas A&M, Denny. This guy at Texas A&M, he went out and got some big time. He got the best player from Purdue. You remember that kid? That big defensive end, Scrouton, or I'm not sure how to say his name. These teams that they just did a great job in the portal. Not only with the quarterback position. Oregon went and got the best defensive tackle from Michigan State. Texas A&M got the best defensive player from Purdue. So, we got to go. Indiana, again, this guy's the blueprint, but he got a lot of those guys were James Madison, guys from that league too, the MAC player of the year, but other guys are doing it, getting the best players from other Power 4 leagues. So, a lot of that, it just plays into Lions success. Wisdom with bringing guys in, bringing in depth. Ohio State too. They go get the best player from Alabama, the defensive back, best defensive back in the country. So proven transfers. Just want to throw it out there.
Yeah, the answer is being able to do both: recruit really well and develop those players, and then attack the portal and supplement it and get great players there. You want to make the case that the portal is more important than recruiting? I don't know. They're both pretty important.
Oh yeah, they're both important, but it's just so much easier now. It's like if you make a mistake in recruiting, bam, you can fix your problem right away. Go get the best player, especially if you're Michigan. And you have a bankroll and you have things to sell. You got 100,000 people. You got education. But Denny, here's a big thing. This is a big thing that I'd like to get an answer to. There's 18 teams in the Big Ten. And I look at Indiana, he's got all these, James Madison and Troy and Appalachian State and all these dudes from these, that were the best players at some of those low academic schools. Can we get those kids in as transfers? Can we do and duplicate some of the things that Indiana did? Oregon, they get the best kid from Michigan State. Can we? I guess that's a question I have. Our coaches, we still, we don't really get a clear answer from the university on bringing. Can we bring a guy in from Appalachian State, the best player on their football team?
Yeah, my quick answer is I think that with the prep players, high school players, I think it's easier for Michigan to bring players in there, but the transfer portal, it's not. They've got we've just seen it with basketball with some guys that wanted to come. Terrence Shannon would be one. He ended up going to Illinois. He wanted to come to Michigan. Caleb Love, he wanted to come to Michigan, and he had to go to Arizona. Those guys, they wanted to get in. It can't be different for football admissions and basketball admissions. Football has just been able to clear them before, and then they have to go through. They didn't go through it publicly like basketball did, but it's tougher to get the transfers in. And look, I remember last year when Miles Hinton came to one of those Monday news conferences. Hinton was like, some of my stuff didn't transfer from Stanford. I mean, Michigan's got to, and the people like you, Scar, that hold those degrees, and I'm saying this is wrong or not, I get it, man. If I had a Michigan degree, you want it to stay in just certain and have it where if you're bringing and you're letting, I don't want to say anyone, but if you're letting players in that could be looked at as diluting your degree. And I don't know. So each person, you can make a counter argument that having great football and basketball is going to prop the university up more and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean they haven't changed anything. Getting transfers in is more difficult than getting high school players in.
No, I understand that. I mean, listen, Jim brought a lot of guys in, and we won. We just got to get the right ones. He brought Josiah Stewart and a lot of these, the kid from Indiana, whatever. I'm just making the point.
Cool. I don't think that Harbaugh was like able to slip guys in where Juwan Howard wasn't. I don't think that's the case.
No, you just got to be selective on who you get. But I just, when I'm looking at some of these guys that Indiana brought in, that's I'm just wondering if we were able to do.
Great question. Could Michigan go out and get guys from?
He had some defensive linemen in there that these dudes were James Madison. Can we get those kids? Those guys look like Alabama defense. That defensive tackle was a Ohio State Alabama type player. That guy. That's not no typical Indiana kid out there. Some of those guys.
That's a single digit defensive.
Oh end. Yeah, those guys we were blocking. That wasn't old school Indiana, man. He ain't just out coaching people. He out transferred people too.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And and there's no excuse for it. You just have to do it. You can't whine and complain. You got to be able to compete and beat them at whatever the rules are now.
Yep. Well, the rules now, they're 2 bye weeks, and Michigan now will head into this bye week, and then they have 2 remaining games at Northwestern. That game has been announced just a little while ago. It will be a 3:30 start against the Wildcats, and then the season finale down in Columbus. 2 final games, but they got a bye week here. How are you looking at things in the short and long term here?
Yeah, Danny, there's I'm just trying to figure out the mentality of what's going on in that locker room with some of our players. I honestly believe that some of them are just like, what's Mason Graham thinking? What's Josiah Stewart thinking? What's Loveland thinking? Let's just get these 2 games done and I'm done. You're not going to see them in the bowl game. Some of those guys you ain't going to see in the bowl game.
Right.
And they're just like, let me just be a great teammate and finish up this season, give them the best I can. That's what I think a lot of them are saying. The Mason Grahams, the Lovelands and Josiah Stewart and that's where. But then I'm like, what's going on with Will Johnson? Is that already a decision that's been made? I don't know, Danny, because I think that this is just me talking. You got this great player. He's going to be a first-round pick, and I can see the coaches though. I can honestly see the coaches. You're a 5-5 football team right now. It benefits them to not play him. To prepare for the future. There is an upside to him not playing. You know what I mean?
No, what's the upside? That if he goes out there and doesn't look good or gets hurt?
Well, the upside for Michigan is we're playing for the future. We're a 5-5 team, Danny. Now I get it. You want to win. You want to beat Northwestern. You want to beat your rival. But deep down, there's something as a coach that says, the benefits of developing guys for the. I'm just throwing it out there. That there probably are some coaches that think that I'd rather have him not play and give more reps to these young guys. Hill, and some of these other guys that are going to be starting for us next year. Just a thought. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I would be a huge shift. Like I've always thought that in the bowl season that would be the case. Like, guys that aren't going to be here next year, hey, thanks, but we're going with the younger guys. But that has not really been the case. You might see some of the young guys that are in there, but for the most part, you wanted to play in the bowl game, you were going to be in there. And if Will Johnson wants to play, they have to. It's a must-win situation. I know everybody's already, chalking up the W. I'm not doing that against Northwestern, not with what I've seen from this coaching staff and these players. I think that, this could be a tight game. I don't know. I haven't looked at it that much, but it could be. And I don't want to go down and get embarrassed against Ohio State. Ohio State, if Will Johnson is worked through things and he comes through and says he's healthy and he wants to play against Ohio State, I want to see, I don't want to see a Bouquet and that Smith guy, racking up 4 or 5 touchdowns. I'd like to see Will Johnson out there and giving Michigan the best chance that they can to stay in that game and possibly pull the upset.
I hear you, and I understand that. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, okay.
There might be some coaches.
Yeah.
I'm not saying what I'm not saying what the coaches are thinking or Johnson's thinking. I'm just telling you that I know that there's some of that mentality. Listen, this week now, again, they're going to scrimmage the heck out of their young guys. They're going to use this whole week to get these guys ready to go, man. For the future.
No, I hear you. And maybe there will be a shift once you get into bowl season because the players have made the shift like that. And maybe the coaches will as well. I mean, what can you say? It was just a few years ago that Jake Butt, he was pretty secure. I don't know if it was going to be a first-round pick, but a second-round pick. And, he wrecked his knee because he wanted to play for Michigan, wanted to play with his teammates. And they didn't say, hey, Jake, why don't you go ahead and sit this one out? No, that was that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, James is talking here. He'd like to see all the NFL prospects sit out. Well, that's an interesting definition. What's an NFL prospect? Is a free agent an NFL prospect? You know what I mean? That would be damn near every starter Michigan has that's ready to go. But the bowls aren't going to like that because they're paying for a product. The advertisers are paying for a product. Are people going to be tuning in to watch, which is essentially a scrimmage? Where you've got.
Yeah, I think the Bulls realize that their importance has pretty much been eliminated. It's been the last few years. It's really, you look at the rosters and they still get ratings. You can just pretty much put anybody out there, and they're just looking for the team. So they've realized that part. Yeah, instead of cutting down the Bulls, they've continued to add them. So yeah. Well, and you have this extra money, you throw some money if they really, that was always the thought before. You really want, bowl integrity and the best players out there, pay them more, come back. How important is, having NFL guys out there? And you see, I've seen it with the quarterbacks. You take one of the, it's not going to be the case with Michigan, but you take a quarterback that's thinking about the draft and instead of going to play a bowl game, he's out, kind of leaves the team in the lurch.
Yeah, Denny, bowl preparation is no joke either. It's 15 practices, 15 long practices. You're up there practicing during final exams, and everybody else is preparing for finals, and you're practicing. And then they're gone, everybody else is gone, and you're up there practicing. When there ain't no one left in Ann Arbor, all the students are gone, and you're practicing. So I've been through it.
But you've been halfway through the bowl prep, you're going out to Hollywood and hanging out.
Well, that's once you go on but there's a lot of time in Ann Arbor where you're a lot of practices in Ann Arbor where it ain't a whole lot of fun, man. It's a lot of work for those bowl games.
I hear you. It's gonna be a lot of work during this bye week, or you think Sharon, takes?
No, they're gonna get a lot done with it. It'll be focused on getting guys, key guys healthy, give them reps and rest. But if I'm just thinking they're going to get a lot of work and reps for young guys. Just start getting an early jump on preparation for all these guys because decisions have to be made, Denny. Decisions have to be made. Like when I'm looking at next year, let's just take the edge. You got Moore. I think Moore should come back, but if he decides to go. The coaches have to decide, are we going to go with Brant and TJ Guy? Is that the way we're going to go? And do they feel confident with some of the young guys being the backups, or do they got to go find Josiah Stewart? You know what I mean? I'm just giving one position as an example that they're looking at all those positions, through this week, hopefully bowl practices, and then they got to make decisions. Can we go with, some of these freshmen they recruited, that are freshmen now? Can they be the backups next year and give us Kenny Grant? Do we have guys like that? Or do we got to go get a guy at those positions? And how important is it that we get another defensive tackle, which I think it is? I think we need an edge player. I think we need a defensive tackle. I think we need a linebacker. That's what I really think we need. I think I wouldn't mind seeing 2 defensive tackles, to tell you the truth. I think our offensive line is got a lot. I think we've done a good job recruiting there. But
what would you say, Scar, if you were in the coaches meetings today for the bye week and Sharon came in and said, guys, how much time should we dedicate to Ohio State, or should everything be involved with trying to get this win?
Hell no. This team ain't. No, hell no. We did that when I played. Okay, Denny, I remember that. It's interesting. It all played out the same way. We played Northwestern the week before we played Ohio State, but this is when Northwestern was, you're hanging 50 on them.
Yeah. Okay,
this ain't the same Northwestern. I remember because we would have our, we called it full line. We did, we saw some play. We went out and they're like, man, this play ain't even this ain't when we're working on Northwestern. We're playing Northwestern and we're working on plays that weren't even in Northwestern plays. They were Ohio State plays. But you're just a young player going through practice. You don't realize it. And then the following week, you realize what the hell the coaches did. You know what I mean? We were working on Ohio State the week of Northwestern, but I would not think of doing any of that for this football game, because Northwestern went to Maryland and beat them good. They beat a good Maryland team. I don't know if they're good. Maryland's a Big Ten team. They're a 500 Big Ten football team, but they went to Maryland and beat them. So I ain't messing with that. No.
Interesting. What I also thought was interesting. Now, I don't think Sharon Moore is telling the truth about all of it, but when it came to his personnel decisions with running backs over the last 2 weeks, a lot of people, when they see Donovan Edwards are out there, they're like, okay, what did Khalil Mullings do wrong? But then, and Khalil Mullings isn't playing in the first quarter these last 2 weeks. I don't think he played at all this last week. And then, he was asked by the sideline reporter, and he said, well, these guys have stepped up in practice and earned it. And my thought is that I know what Khalil Mullings brings to the table. He's a battering ram. Are they going full bore in practice and telling Khalil Mullings, hey, your job's in jeopardy, get out there, your starting job or whatever, and then they don't play him at all? But then when the second half started, then it was like they're going to Khalil Mullings, almost like, that he wasn't available for him in the first half, and he was.
Denny, let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
There's always things that are going on within a program that the media doesn't know anything about. I'm not going to speculate that he did something wrong off the field, but a lot of times when you see, like, he sat out a quarter or he sat out a half, sometimes I'm just telling you that there's things that go on.
Well, and Ben Hall could have said, look, Ben Hall could have said, look, I've been working my ass off here in practice, and I'm doing everything you guys say. We're watching the film. I'm breaking tackles. And then, I got the hot hand. What else do I need to do? And then if he does that, I don't know. Yeah.
Part of it, I think part of it too is you want to start. Both those guys are leaving.
Right.
Okay. Both our running backs are leaving.
So that's a good point.
You want to start getting, I'd want to start getting these guys reps, start getting them ready, man. So,
yeah.
But again, we don't know what goes on in practice. We don't know, when you see that guy that sat out a quarter or a half, because I sat guys out for a quarter, half, for whatever, some reasons they did some things, that had to be dealt with. Put it that way. Non-football things, maybe. I don't know. I'm just speculating again, but
right.
A big part of what they're doing, they got to start making decisions about who can we beat Ohio State with that's going to be on our roster next year. Right. And then, can we not beat Ohio State with some of these guys? Well, then we got to go get portal guys in those positions. I watched Ole Miss, Denny. I'll tell you what, old Lane, that guy knows he put a team together. He's another guy that did a great job in the portal. He got all them kids that Jimbo Fisher brought in, a bunch of them from Texas A&M, that Jimbo paid all that money 17-year-old kids that didn't produce. Well, Lane's got them now as 19-year-old kids, and they're better players. And anyway, Lane did a great job in the portal too. That's why he was able to compete with Georgia.
Yeah, their defense played great. I was shocked. And last year, I think Georgia scored like 50 points on them. So it was a pretty surprising result.
I was just talking to a guy about a coaching clinic, and I think Signetti might be coming to one of these coaching clinics here in Michigan. Denny, I just want to tell you, I was thinking, I actually was thinking about that. As a coach, there's certain coaches you always want to go, you want to go see and listen to. I always wanted to listen to guys that built programs that didn't have anything. I don't want to listen to some guy who's winning and he's got the greatest players in the state because he's just winning with great talent. So I just thought that, if I was coaching now and there's 18 Big Ten coaches and I could go to any of their and hear them speak at a clinic, all 18 coaches, Signetti would be the first guy I'd want to be sitting in. I'd be sitting in the front row listening to that guy and his staff based on the things they've done with, taking over Indiana. Are you kidding me? If someone said, hey, Scar, you're taking over a program and these are the topics are how to build a program, Signetti would be the guy I would want to listen to. I just can't say enough about the guy. And there's nothing wrong with respecting people that win in our profession. He's not cheating. He's doing it the right way. And we'll look at the film, man, and you'll see that these guys, it's everything we thought they would do. They don't beat themselves. They play with great technique. Obviously he brought good players in, but they play real smart too.
Well, Signetti, he's got a bye week, and Ohio State is playing Northwestern this upcoming week, and then it's Indiana and Ohio State. How much of a chance do you give Indiana? They have to go on the road and play at Ohio State. Do you think that they can keep that game close? Do you think
Yeah, they have. Listen, they got some players, Danny. They got some players. They're not just winning with smoke and mirrors.
Right. No, they're not.
He does. They do a great job schematically, defensively. They're where they're supposed to be. The guy's a real good defensive coach. And I would say they'd have a chance. Line will probably be,
10,
9.5, something like that. But this quarter, they're good. They have a chance because Ohio State at times has looked beatable, but every team does. But
I was real impressed. Indiana, they didn't get a score on their first drive, but the next two drives, Rourke looked like he was a pro. Those throws that he was making, and the 36-yard touchdown pass. I mean, he looked like Dan Marino. So Michigan did a good job after that, but those second and third drives were pretty impressive by the Hoosiers. All right, what else? Is there anything else that I've?
Well, Denny, people talking about Underwood. Let me just say this.
Quarterback from Belleville. Yeah.
Let me just say this. This is my thoughts because I've said it. I'm going to say it again. Oregon has the blueprint. You bring in the best possible transfer quarterback available. You give Dylan Gabriel, and then you bring in a top-notch freshman, 5-star kid. Well, they went and got Dante Moore. Okay, that's their depth. That's their future. That's the blueprint. Ohio State. What did Ohio State do? They got this kid from Kansas State, and then they got the top quarterback in the country, kid from Los Angeles. I would like to see I would like to see Michigan do the same thing. Okay, go get the best guy who's started like 24 games somewhere, the MVP from the Mountain West quarterback, the MVP somewhere, and then also bring in Underwood. Okay, because I wouldn't want to just bring in Underwood and then have the situation like Chip Kelly had at UCLA. You bring in Dante Moore for 1 year, and all that did is get you fired, get you run out of town. You go 6-6, and then what? You know what I mean?
Yeah. What about a Miller Moss from USC?
I think he gives us the same thing as what we got now. I want a guy that can run, Danny. I want a guy that can move.
Better. You want somebody better than Miller.
I want a guy who's accurate, tough. I want Dylan Gabriel. Okay, is that guy out there? If there are good players out there that are available.
Sure.
Okay, and I want to. There ain't nothing like having started in hostile environments and played like this kid from Indiana. That dude is cool, calm, collective. Day one, he was ready to compete, man. I don't want to screw around with developing some quarterback. I don't want to do. I don't that because if you bring in Underwood, you also got to understand. If you bring in Underwood, Jaden Davis is gone. He's in the portal. If we sign Underwood, I guarantee you, Jaden Davis is gone. I'll take that bet right now.
Well, I don't know if I would place a bet on that. It's tough when you think about transfer portal and quarterbacks that are coming in your spot. If I'm Davis, I'm thinking I've been on ice for a year. Even if you're bringing in a true freshman quarterback, I've just gone through it and seen how tough it is. I want to give my chance to compete.
Denny, these figures we're hearing, I guarantee you Davis ain't getting the kind of figures we're hearing about Bryce Underwood.
Oh, I agree with that, but I would want to compete with him.
I hear that, but they ain't going to give him that kind of money. If they think Underwood is the same thing as Davis, they're not giving him that kind of money.
Yeah.
If they think they got a guy sitting there right now in Ann Arbor that's as good as this kid, they're not going to go through all that Portney money and all that money from all these other 10 million, 3 years. And that's another thing, which I do like hearing. I don't know how true that is, that they want a 3-year commitment. They want this thing structured that, maybe the bulk of the money is at the end of the 3 years. Because you don't want it to happen like happened to UCLA with Dante Moore. You get the kid for 1 year, you develop him, then he packs his bags. You got nothing. You got zero out of that agreement. Absolutely nothing, but your coach fired.
Yeah, I hear you. You would think that if you were paying somebody $4 million, you would say, yeah, after you play you get the $1 million, but if you leave, you don't get the $2 million until you're a sophomore. You don't get the $3 million, and so on. You would think that. What about if they get Underwood? He comes in for spring, and Jaden Davis a little bit better than him. Because of the year that he's had. He's got the grasp of the offense, and you think Underwood might have, of course, a higher ceiling, but you feel like Davis is going to give you the best chance to win. Are you making any promise? I don't know. They have to make any promise.
No, you don't make any promises, but I just think that the film I've seen of Underwood, the athletic ability, the size, the strength, I just think, in my opinion, I think Davis would have a hard time beating him out. Even he can run, he can, he's just a bigger, stronger, more of a, he's there's a reason he's
medical transfer portal quarterback that you're talking about that is more agile than Miller Moss, and I guess has as good an arm.
There's guys out there. I watched this kid from Arizona State that was at Michigan State. He's got him winning. The kid from Texas State was at George Madison last year. That kid's a hell of an athlete. He looks like that Ward kid from Miami. But believe me, there are some stud quarterbacks that are at these smaller level schools that are 3-year starters that if you give me one of those guys and Underwood, man, I'm a happy guy. That's a great situation. And you have Underwood work like we did with JJ. You have a package, you run them, you let him, but with Underwood, you can let him throw it a little bit. You know what I mean? That's the best scenario. Is the way we developed JJ. He had a package as a freshman, and then he was ready to go his last 2 years. That'd be the perfect scenario for me. That's just what I'm thinking if I'm coaching, and that's why I think Oregon and Ohio State are doing it.
So you want Underwood in no matter what as a true freshman.
I'd like to get him, but I don't want just him.
Right. No, I got you. I wouldn't.
Because Danny, I tell you, I just don't want just him, man. I don't want it. I think that's what happens if you go 7-5 or 6-6 with the true freshman quarterback. What's going to happen then?
What's going to happen if Michigan goes 7-5 next year? Woo!
With a true freshman quarterback who played a lot.
Well,
Davis Warren and him and whatever, who knows else what, and Orgy, and what are you going to do then?
Well, your coach is going to be on the hot seat, but I would say, considering Rich Rodriguez got 3 years, that you would bring Sharon Moore back for a third year, even if it was a 7-5 season.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why it's kind of a problem if you just bring, you want to look at 6-6 again with a true freshman. And then you're going to say, well, you can't get rid of them because you had the true freshman. I don't know. I don't want to even look at that.
No, it's no fun talking about what if they go 6-6 next year. Yeah, I mean, people talk about it, but it's not a fun. There's no fun conversations to have when it comes down to the coaching decisions, personnel, how this team's played right now. They're not fun conversations.
Oh.
That's why a lot of people are like,
they're tough. They're tough, man. That's why those are real tough decisions coaches have to make.
Yeah. That's why they do what you did at the beginning, Scar. Saying, how about those Lions? Boy, they had a hell of a game, didn't they? Yeah.
Pass the buck.
Hey, I mean, you can sit around. I don't know if I like it, but I'll have the tough conversations. I'll say everything that's on my mind, but I'm not going to every day. I don't think Sharon Moore, the last 2 games, he's had 2 terrible games as a coach. As bad as it gets out there, and the whole season obviously hasn't gone well for him. But I'm not going to come on here every day or every chance that I have and talk about, this has just been the worst coaching job that I've ever seen. I think it is, but I'm not going to say it every day. So that's where I'm at with it.
There's some good things on this film, Denny. Anything else before we get to that film?
Well, yeah, I want to say 2 things. One, if you do like having those tough conversations about Michigan, a great place to go is with a bunch of other Michigan fans on the Maize and Blue Review, and you can get full access today by going to michigan.rivals.com. Scar mentioned Bryce Underwood. There's, constant debate and stories and anything that could possibly come out about Bryce Underwood. Like Connor Stallions is his coach now. They're at Belleville, and Michigan's got that going for him for whatever that's worth. All of that is out there on the Maize and Blue Review. And the other thing is the Telestrator. You want to be like Scar, use Quick Cut video and analytics, and with that we do go to the film. And here he is, Scar, and you're looking at this game against Indiana, and here we are.
Yeah, Denny, I always look at the line of scrimmage, and this is something we've always been able to do against Indiana is dominate the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. And listen, they're a 10-0 football team. They did not push us around, but at the same time, we did not push them around. It was kind of an Ohio State Michigan line of scrimmage game, I thought. So this is just one play early on that, everything was tough. Nothing was easy sledding against them, and they had nothing easy against us, also running the football. One thing about recruiting big, tall defensive tackles is you get a lot of this. Kenny slapped a lot of passes down in his day. The downside of being a big, tall defensive tackle sometimes is playing the run. He gets a little high, but, he does a good job here. And then, it would have been nice to get that deflection and pick it off, man. Sometimes to have, to win that game. Denny, this was a great drive. Our first drive was what we did, I think, the last 3 years. We were not afraid to throw on first down. We had a Cade and we had JJ, and this kid, he can make these passes. And this was one of the greatest. It was the greatest drive we had all game. But I don't know why we got away from it. Throw the ball on first down.
He did it all the way down the field. He didn't just drop the ball. So they had to settle for the field.
But there's other drives where we just came out, I thought, too much on first down, trying to hammer it, trying to run it. And this is good stuff. We got we got run personnel in there. We got 2 tight ends, but we're spreading them out. Danny, this guy played. He was their defensive coordinator, played for Brady Hoke, and I see little things that Brady liked to do when he was at San Diego State, and this kind of stuff. We don't do these kind of stunts so much. This is Brady Hoke, and this is stuff that this guy's a good defensive coach. This is some of the stuff Michigan State did that gave us trouble. Some of these kind of stunts, and we just do it. We don't do a good job blocking a lot of this stuff all the time. Just want to point it out. They execute, man. They know what they do. They have a plan. And Denny, I talked about these guys. this ain't no, these are not little lamb chops in here. These ain't Mac. These are good players, man. This is not, old IU guys we could push around. This dude went out and got players, James Madison, Appalachian State, Troy, wherever the hell they came from. And they were athletes, man. And look at this kid here. So I just want to point it out that the defensive front for them and their offensive line too, they got players.
Not your dad's IU team.
That's no. Indiana, you always saw a drop off in talent, and that's why we won so many in a row against them.
I forgot that Fred Moore was on the team.
Yeah. Well, we threw it to a lot of guys.
Yeah, it's nice.
Saturday. Here we are throwing it to O'Leary.
Nice
I can't believe the big cushion they had. Indiana was, here's 3rd and 8, big cushion.
It's because we've run it all year at 3rd and 8. They couldn't believe it. Like,
yeah,
whoa.
But easy stuff, man. If they're going to give it to you, and this, I talked about freaks last week that we got to have some guys like Oregon had making some great plays. Here's 1st and 10. We got a guy making a great play.
Yeah.
This is Michigan, man. We got to have guys like that make plays like that. Ohio State's got them. Oregon's got them. Indiana's got them. We got to get to the point. That's a great catch.
1st and 10 from the 6. Let's go.
And we weren't great in the red zone, man. Red zone they were good on defense in the red zone. These are not small dudes in here, man. These are not little fellas. And this is he just wouldn't. He didn't have his best game, man. Just slips out of his hand. But I point out Hinton here. This is big for Big Hinton to get this ball. Don't try to get cute. Just jump on it. That's a 3-point recovery. So good job by him. This kicker's probably going to play in the NFL. He's going to have a chance. This kid hasn't missed all year, has he, Denny?
He missed one, I think.
Yeah, here's 2nd and 3. These guys they block us, man. They block Benny here. We talked about that 2-for-1 deal, and their center gets him reached, and there's that little seam in there. And then they're able to get the guard off on the linebacker. They're trying to double here and get off on him. And Benny can't allow the guard to come off, but he does. And he comes off on the backer, and now there's that little seam in there. And Guy is trying to come off it. I feel real good about him next year as a starter at the weak side edge position. And hopefully more will come back. Good. Denny, what do you think? Is this kid, what's the difference between this kid? I've watched this kid play, this Indiana kid. What's the difference between him and the kid at Texas? They're saying Ewers is one of the first players taken. I don't know. This kid's pretty damn good too. You see a big difference in the quarterbacks?
Ewers has dropped down a little bit after he got benched or, got hurt. I know he had a good week this past week, but I think he's not a lock to be a first rounder anymore.
Yeah, this kid is good, man. He's a 6'5" kid. Yeah, see, I don't like this. Is the stuff. This is the stuff that makes concerns me, Denny, for next year because they're counting on. I'm just keeping it real, man. This is big 95. Is he going to be? Can we beat Ohio State with him next year? You know what I mean? And those are the decisions coaches are making.
I don't know. Cameron Brandt, he wasn't showing up in the film too much, except for
That's Pierce. 95 is Pierce.
Yeah, I'm just making a point about 91.
Oh, okay.
He was showing up in the wrong ways early in the year, and he looks like he's come on and has played a lot better. So maybe 95 can do the same thing. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I hope. But I'm just telling you, those are the decisions the coaches are thinking about right now. Barry's got to know where he does have help inside here. I would have liked to see him position this a little differently, take advantage of that help on the inside. Because there's a defender here. So, position yourself to, make the guy come back here. That's why we have a defender there to help him. I mean, he's playing good coverage, but it's a perfect pass, man. And that ain't no lamb chop receiver, man. That's an athletic kid. They went out and got some athletic receivers. And look at all these people here, man. This ain't the Indiana crowd I remember playing at. Look at all these people.
No.
I don't remember this when I was playing. They were half empty most of the time, and half of them be Michigan fans. That's all red up there, man. So that's a different stadium that they look at this. They haven't had that.
It's wild.
Yeah. Number 7 here. We got to make this tackle. Maybe we can get off the field. 3rd and 1. The little things, Denny, the little things, man. Get him tackled over there. They might punt the football. This 1st and 10. This is one of his, this is the stuff he did early in the year, man. You think a guy learned his lesson. What do they call him? Bug?
Shug.
You gotta read this thing, man. Don't ever let anybody throw it over your head. We're gonna always break on the short stuff. I heard Coach Carr talking that forever and ever and ever. We ain't letting them throw it over our head. We'll break on it on the short stuff. And he just bites on the weak fake, and there you go. There's no reason for it. He's been around, man. He's played 10 games now. So you see the little, pump and go, just a little bit. He's got to be smarter, man. I think it got to the point, Danny, in this game where they were like, "Where's number 10?" I think that's where we're throwing the football. If we're there in man coverage, who's 10 covering? Because that's what it seemed like. I mean, we make them pay later.
Right. He bounced back in the second half.
Yeah. He had the interception, which was a great play.
Yeah.
I think these are what I think are going to be our 3 edge players next year. I hope Moore comes back. Brant has improved, like you say, and then TJ Guy. I think we can win with those guys. But do they have faith in the 4th one? Who's the 4th guy coming up? It's a great job by Brant. He just beats this guy with speed, athleticism. This is good stuff. That's a great play. Strip the ball. We got to get that ball, man. God, that would have been huge. 4th and 12. I thought Wink called a great game, man. I thought he called a pretty damn good game. You give that team 20 points. Aren't they averaging 40 points a game?
47.
We gave them 20. Okay. And we turned the ball over one time. Okay. We gave them 20. We turned the ball over and we created a turnover and gave the ball to our offense on the 10-yard line. So I ain't hearing it, man. Sorry. We got to control the football. We got to score points, and we got to secure the football as an offense. It's all placed together. But this is a little stunt here. Good coverage. But
Wink had his best game.
I think, yeah, he did some good things, man. We had a good our players played their positions and played their techniques pretty good. It's a nice throw and catch.
Yeah,
you're right. You hadn't heard his name much all year. This is a poor executed. This isn't so, the fumble, it's a fumble, but we're not blocking it. We got 2 guys block nobody here, Denny. Poor execution, 2 guys whiff. Okay, Bredesen's blocking down. He doesn't block anybody. And then we pull and we block nobody. 3 guys are killing our back. You see this? Okay, the way it should be, Bredesen should be coming tight down here. Okay, he should be coming tight. Right?
Yeah, I'm following that.
And that linebacker should not be coming underneath him. That linebacker should not be juking him with this little bullshit move here. Coming underneath and beating them and drilling our quarterback. Okay, that's number one. So Bredeson's got to be better. And then our guard is pulling. Okay, now we block somebody, this dude or this guy.
He should have taken 12.
Somebody wanted, depending, I'm not sure how they're coaching it. Probably kick out this guy, but he blocks nobody. We got 2 guys block nobody. That's terrible.
Yeah, he didn't look like the 68 for the Lions last night.
And then you got three guys killing our quarterback.
58. I'm sorry.
So that's not good, man. That's on the players. That's on our offensive line coach. Not good. Screenplay here. I got a question mark. Yeah, I think Kenny's tired. See big 78, Denny?
Yeah.
This is not good. You got to play guys, man. You're not pursuing. How many times we've seen big 78 run plays down? This is what coaches look at. Look at his effort. That ain't the same dude we saw chase that guy down. What game was that?
Penn
Was
State.
that Alabama?
Penn State,
right? Yeah, he's tired. He's playing tired. But this kid here, this number 1 is a good player, man. Or no, let's see, Hausman. That's Hausman. Yeah, you can't overrun this thing, man. This is try to shove that guard right back into the ball carrier. Keep outside leverage. I got a question here. It's 3rd and 5. Yeah, I saw it right away. That I thought that was a penalty.
Yeah.
As soon as I'm watching it, live, I'm like, that's a penalty. They can't do that. Just run into the guy. And luckily, the official saw it. It was a huge play that they called it because it was, that's offensive interference. You got to do that and throw the ball behind on our side, on the offensive side of the line of scrimmage. You can't do that.
No, you got to run your route, make it look like you're, you got to do a lot better than that.
3rd and 21. What is Wink doing? He's just rushing 4 guys.
Where's the blitz?
Coverage.
I'm just kidding.
What's that?
I was just saying, where's the blitz? Everybody thinking.
Oh, listen, he doesn't, Denny. He don't bring a lot of 6 guys. He brings. Wink is a guy that shows stuff to get you confused. But in the end of the day, it usually ends up bringing just 4 guys. You just don't know who's coming. This is good. Let's get him stopped, get him tackled. But it doesn't look good right now, man. We hadn't done much on offense. But we get in this game, man. This is you got to adjust. Why do I have adjust here? Okay, yeah, they're going in motion. We're adjusting. We're doing the right things, getting in the right spots. And we got a guy that sees it. That's smart coaching, smart playing, adjusting properly to formation, maybe recognizing, maybe what do they do with this formation? What do they do with this guy in motion? There's a lot of little things we don't know, but the players know and the coaches know. What does Indiana like to do here? This stuff isn't by accident that he gets this jump on this route. He that's scouting. That's a kid. We beat him up, and now that's a hell of a play. Go celebrate with your team, man. Oh, what did I do, Denny? I
know you can get it back, maybe. We'll take a look.
Oh, shoot.
Look it over. I'll look at some of the film or some of the.
Yeah, go, Denny. I think I got to sign back in.
All right.
I screwed up there.
CFADC saying that Barry was watching the film from last week. Hillman's an interesting one. Brandon Hillman, he hits like he played in the 70s or 80s. But
that's what they said about him?
That's what I said about him. But all of his 2 hits is 2 like, layout smashes. Both of them were clean, but it's just he's such a big hitter that you feel like you could say, I mean, maybe he's able to. I know he had an unsportsmanlike or a late hit this year. It's just tough when you're a big hitter like that because there's so many rules to get the big hits out, but man, he did a good job with it this game.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be hit by him.
Yeah. What year is he?
He is a 23, so that makes him a sophomore, redshirt freshman. No, he's going to be around for a while.
Okay, Danny, do you see it or I got to share it now again?
You're going to have to share it again. Yeah, people like Hillman talking about him. Yo. Ain't nothing safe. There it is, Scar. I see it now.
Okay,
you're back and you're going to have to fast forward a little bit, but
yeah,
you're doing a pretty good job.
We talked about this. I think this is where we left off, this play where he makes this play.
A pick?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is it.
Anyway, that's coaching. That's smart player. Knowing where we're at. What do they do in that situation? That stuff isn't all just by accident. You know, who's the player? Where's the ball? What's the down and distance? What's the split? And this kid from their team does a good job. He sees the motion. He sees what we got in the game. And this kid just blows it up. He sees the down block. This one dude single-handedly crushed this play. And Alex has got to read this better, but we don't get a good block. We let this kid get penetration. You know, this guy gets penetration here. And Alex should have bounced it outside. And it doesn't happen. Settling for another field goal.
Right. I thought they should have went for that one. What about you?
Yeah, this kid's going to be a high pick. I know there's people out in the media that want to beat him up, but I think we got a hell of a linebacker here. I think Barham's a damn good football player. This kid is going to – where did Junior Colson go? First, was he a second round?
Yeah.
This kid's he's a pro linebacker, man. Yeah, he's a damn good player, man. I think he's tough. He plays the run good. He's maybe not as good in pass as Junior, but you know, he's a good player. 78. I like this. I like this bull rush, and then he comes off it. We talk about this, right? Then he'd be able to two gap on the rush. He's punching, walking him back. He's able to come off. He makes him throw the football. You know, I think he made him throw the football.
Yeah. Barham had a good game.
Yeah. Bait, number 7 is Bait here. Again, this is James Madison, these dudes. Look at this defensive line. Can we get him in? I talked about it. I just want to make sure I covered it. Can we get those guys enrolled? But I think this is a good scheme. It's kind of like Denny, we're pumping like we're throwing the wheel route to Donovan. We release Donovan out of the backfield here. Here's Donovan, number 7. Everybody knows we like wheel route with Donovan, although we haven't run it much this year. But now we run a screen in front of it. We block it pretty good. So I like that scheme. Throw the bait out there. But nothing was easy against this team, Denny. Nothing easy against them, man. Little 3rd and 2. You know, these guys, we're not moving these dudes. Look how tough they are in there. Some of those single-digit dudes, they're 95. That's a player, man. We don't execute here. What's the down and distance? 3rd and 6, 71. Let's block your guy. He beats you inside. He gets his hand on our running back.
Mm.
You know, they coordinate this thing pretty good. They're bringing, you know, we do this stuff. Everybody's coming, but everybody's in the right gap for them. They execute it perfectly.
Was that from 58 or something? 56? Longest kick, and there it is.
Now here we are rushing 4, 1st and 10. Again, we're getting some pressure, just rushing 4. TJ Guy. That big Moore up there at the top. Or that's Grant. So, the future looks good at the edge position. I'd like to see Moore come back. There's another nice job by Brandt. He feels his back cross his face and he jumps him.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's one of the things you teach edge players. Why is his back crossing my face? I yelled at him in the Washington game. He didn't feel things, but this, right. Some of the stuff, Denny, only comes with reps, game reps. So that's a great job. So here's Wink, Denny, showing 6 guys up. 3rd and 21. We're in the game, man. He's showing 6. He's only rushing 4, and we run a little stunt and we get pressure. But what did showing 6 do to their protection? Did it help this stunt by showing 6? We got a guy over this. We got a nose over the center, and there's 2 guys here blocking 2. But what did it do? There's confusion. We execute it. Good job by that's Rolder, a linebacker, and TJ Guy. So it's well executed. IU linebackers did a good job slipping under on a lot of what we do. I showed you earlier how they slid under Bredesen.
Yeah,
right? Made that play. I talked to who's our tight end coach, Kasulu. How many times are we going to let that happen?
Kasula.
Danny, some of this stuff is coached like certain teams might emphasize more of this or allow their linebackers to do this. You got to know that as a coach. You know what I mean? They encourage their linebackers to come underneath blocks more than other guys. We ran a lot of we ended up in a lot of 22. I called it 22 formation when I was coaching. I don't know what these guys call it, but we motioned out into 2 and 2. Here's 2 here and here's 2 here. We ended up a lot of that, and we had good success throwing the football. Just because maybe we saw something, they were going to give up the flats. Should have did more of it. And then they hit our guy. It's a big drive. This is a guard. Our guard trips here, but we do a good job blocking with these 3 guys on this side. Klein, Loveland, and Hinton. They cave everything down. No one crosses their face. No penetration. Those 3 guys do a good job. And Mullings, this is something he's good at. So we're in the game, man. We are in the football game. Our defense has played well. Our offense got it going here. But watch these 3 guys here. All 3 of these guys cave this thing down. They're all trying. Indiana's trying to get penetration. You don't want them to get penetration like this. When they slant, you want to just push them right down, flatten them right out like that. Don't let them get no penetration. And that's what we did. Those 3 guys did that. Now, obviously, we're trying to pull this guard here. I don't like pulling. Bo never liked pulling guards on the goal line. See, we're trying to pull this guard here, but he trips over the center. The center gets knocked back a little bit. And we lose our guard. He doesn't even get there. And those 2 guys are unblocked. These 2 guys are unblocked. But because we had that good wash down here, Mulling makes it happen, man. And the linebackers read that thing a little quicker. But here's Indiana now, Denny, for the 2-point conversion. They dropped 8 players. They rushed 3. This is something a lot of guys do now, is make the quarterback try to find something there, and it's tough. Wink does a lot of this too on the goal line. So they're only rushing 3, and like to see them buy some time. And again, this is where you got a guy that can run. You really make them pay for this kind of coverage. Step up. Step up. Step up here. I don't want that kid from USC, Denny. I'll tell you that right now. I don't want him.
Miller Moss, you don't want
I
him?
want a guy that can run. I don't like this drop. This is a big play here, man. We're trying to get off the field. I'm not sure how they're teaching Hausman here. We're showing 6. We dropped this guy here, but I don't know how they're coaching Hausman here. Why would you just sit here? This linebacker's coming over here. He's defending that slant here, but Hausman's I don't know how they're teaching that. Instead of if I'm coaching it, I'm having him go right now to him, get in front of that slant or that little curl hook route there. But, maybe they are coaching him to do what I'm saying. He just didn't do it. I don't know. 3rd 11, 6 up. I mean, we got a chance here, man. All we need is a field goal. We're rushing 4. We're showing 6. Denny, we're showing 6. Again, Wink, this is what he does, man. This ain't no high pressure, leave your secondary on islands. We're showing 6, but we're only bringing 4. But they don't know who's coming. And it creates problems. I guarantee you that showing 6 created a problem here. Benny's beating his guy. And then here's another great play by this. I love this kid. This is a good player, man. Big Barham. So now let's go, man. All we need is a field goal. We got 8 minutes left. Then they wanted to just run it in there, slam it in there. Go back to that first drive, Danny. Throwing it on first down. That's what I was calling for. These last couple drives.
Yeah, but these last couple drives, this is where you had the quarterback kind of.
I get it, but we're 3rd and 11, Danny. We're 3rd and 11 because
that Kendrick Bell. You got to make a better throw there.
I get it, but my point is, this is pass situation. What do we do on 1st and 2nd down? We tried to slam it in there, and they just stuffed us. I'd like to see us throw it on the run downs, like we did that first drive. Yeah, this is just a bad throw. Kid's wide open.
Bad throw.
Good protection, just overthrown.
No, that's.
I don't like this coverage. They got 2 guys here. They probably got a right return. They put 2 guys to the side. That tells you they probably want to run the football over here on their punt return. And Mullings gets pinned in. You cannot get pinned in because he has to be the contained guy. That's how we do things. This is how we cover punts. These guys just go to, but he doesn't get enough width, and he almost falls down. See, right now, Mullings should be working out here. He doesn't get width. Lets this guy block him in. That's too much extra yardage. It's all because of one guy. You gotta be in your lane. You gotta kick the ball back in. So our special team coverage is not very good there. That's way too much.
The punter and punt coverage has been disappointing this year. If you lump them together.
2nd and 9. This is they do a good job with this route, and I just question how we're defending this stuff. Why would we give up this huge, on this side? Listen, we've got this side covered, okay, with a linebacker. I mean, make them throw an out cut. Make them throw the ball out here. It's 2nd and 9. Make them throw the ball a tougher throw. See these guys. See they're screwed up. Watch our players here, because I guarantee you this is not what Wink had designed. See, watch them. See how they're looking, talking. See how they're pointing.
Yeah, that's your guy. That's your guy. You're supposed to be here.
There's confusion. There's 3 dudes and something screwed up. Something said, coach has that defended, but we screwed it up.
It's 10th game of the year, boys. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Gotta have it down by now.
Yeah, coach can only do so much, man. This is not good. Our tackle. This pissed me off. This last drive, Danny, we couldn't block 4 guys, man.
Yeah, well, you should have been watching the game with me. I was right there with you.
Yeah, I wondered how we had so much trouble blocking.
No line protection.
He goes inside there, but yeah, we need we need 10 yards. I don't know.
Throw it.
Mike, I guess you got to know we need 10 yards, man.
Yeah.
Not 8.5, not 9, but
yeah, it's not like you're throwing it to Desmond Howard or something, thinking you're going to be able to check down.
It's a bad dude, man. I got great respect for him. I'll just keep it real. I got respect for the guy. If I was coaching again, and this dude was speaking at a clinic of all the 18 teams in the Big Ten, Denny, and I got the choice to spend an hour listening to one coach talk, that's a guy I would listen to. If I was a young coach wanting to hear a coach talk about building a program, that's the guy.
Well, did you hear what happened on the field afterward? His daughter, her boyfriend proposed to Signetti's daughter and said, every day is 10-0 with you, something like that. She said yes. Oh, he had it all planned. I don't know if they lost, if it would be like, hey, 9-1's all right. He probably would have waited, but hey, 10-0, marriage proposal.
We'll see if some of these big schools try to ante up and get them. Florida. I actually heard Notre Dame. Somebody was talking Notre Dame. I mean,
they're going to the playoffs, so that'll be.
I know, guys, 8-1 right now. I don't know, but
a couple quick hitters for you. Somebody wanted to mention that Marine City's still alive in the playoffs.
I know all about it, man. They're a well-coached football team. They'll win this week. Team they already played. The tough one, they'll play Jackson Lumen Christi next week, will be the real tough one.
All right, Zavada missed one kick.
But you got a great game, Danny. You got a great game this weekend, man. You got Belleville and CC. I might actually go out there. Both CC's undefeated. He started to bring some players in there at CC now. So Belleville, there's some good games this weekend.
Yeah, well, the other thing, Zavada missed one kick, one field goal. He missed an extra point too. He missed at Illinois. I think it was a snap problem.
That's not on him.
No, I don't think it was on him. And the quarterbacks right now, Ewers is not projected to be a first rounder. Jalen Milroe has really risen up the rankings. Cam Ward for Florida. I know they lost this past.
What do they got? They want guys that can run, Danny.
Shador Sanders.
You got guys that can run.
Wegman from Texas A&M. I think he got hurt. And
that guy, you can have him.
Nussmeier.
You can have him too. I don't want him.
Let's just go to
Milroe. I bet John Harbaugh takes Jalen Milroe.
Can the Lions win with Harbaugh's taking the lineman? Can the Lions win with Jared Goff? He's not much of a runner.
Well, I think what they do, and I listened to John Gruden talk about Jared Goff, and you know what he said? He said Jared Goff earns his money before the ball is snapped. Okay, he gets him in the right. He sees the defense. He gets him in the right play, and that was like the ultimate compliment. He said Jared Goff, he can't run, okay, but he's very accurate, and he earns his money before the ball is snapped because he sees what the defense is doing.
How much of that Gruden you're watching? He brings you in his house. He's showing you his rooms. He's got one room that's just nothing but a whiteboard.
Yeah, I like it, Danny. You guys,
he's coaching up on the whiteboard.
You know what he does when he gives his podcast? He's basically just giving a scouting report, something he's done for 30 years. He's given a scouting report on both those teams like he's done. So it's all second nature to him. And you got Belichick doing his podcast too, talking, little things that I enjoy as a coach.
Gruden, Belichick, and Scar. Those are the three I watch, breaking it down, having fun. All right, well, Scar, enjoy the bye week, and we look forward to talking with you again the next time you're available.
All right, Danny, go blue.
There he is, Jim Scarcelli.